And so everybody said they wanted to learn about something about hardware. And when I talked to Glenn, he said, how about we do something about tracks, because it's the most questions that he gets, and walking people through the Kirsch book. And, in doing some research on Kirsch, they are the leader in the custom window treatment drapery track hardware.
What exactly do I mean by a traverse rod? Because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. When I use the term traverse rod, I've had individuals call me and say, yeah, I want a traverse rod, and a pole with rings that I can put a baton on and slide it back and forth. And I'm like, no, that's not a traverse rod. That's just straight hardware where you're going to be traversing the drapes back and forth. But in my mind, I view a traverse rod as a track with carriers that you can open and close either with a cord, a baton, a motor, or just by hand. Estate rods, you see your various types of estate rods. I'm going to jump down to these two here, Chroma and Varia. I'm going to talk very, very quickly and briefly on these. In the 4 years that they've come out with these, I have yet to talk to anybody about these. I have yet to sell any of these. We do not fabricate these here. If you want to order them, I can order them from you. Kirsch will make them and ship them direct to you. What both of these are, their fascias is basically a 2-inch high by about a 1/4 inch thick. It's sort of like a hard plastic man-made material that's mounted onto the track. And Chroma, you can see the wild finishes that they have to offer. Varia, the finishes aren't so loud or wild, but more, these are, if you look at this picture over here, it gives you a textured look and feel to the front. Again, it's the same 1/4 inch piece of plastic. These are the colors, the finishes, as well as the textures that's on the front. Very, very expensive though. I think you're looking at about $75 a foot for these two rods.
That's not bad.
Depends on your client, whatever they want. So getting back, three groupings of estate rods. You have your Buckingham, which is just a wood, designer metals, and wood trends. And each section or each line comes in two different sizes, 2-inch and 1 3/8 inch. I'm going to go into the designer metals 2-inch. So basically, this is the profile of the track. This is what the track looks like. On the front of it, you get a half round profile. Whether it's wood or metal, it's a half round fascia that's attached to that track. If you look at this back section here of the track, it's basically the 94001 track with a fascia wall on the front of it. It's really the only difference between the two. This track comes in two different finishes, bronze. Up here they say white, anodized bronze, and black. I think that's a lie. It's only bronze and anodized. I think the track for the Chroma and Varia come in all 4 finishes, but for fascia, it's only bronze and anodized. I know that for a fact. So again, when you look at this profile, you have to remember you're not going to be able to mount this tight up against the ceiling. You're going to have to use this ceiling bracket, which drops it down, clearance for your rings or your fascia, as well as any finial that you're going to put on the end. Okay. Your track channel, again, everything's the same. Components, cord, everything's the same. This, all of the estate rods can be motorized. We are making the motorization here on site. So that's something that we can do. So really, this is your more decorative, more high-end cost traverse rod. What I want to do now is probably one of the biggest questions I get is, how do you double mount these rods? Okay, so here are some options for double mounting. We have this big heavy duty bracket that we use quite often for double rods. And you can see you have to use this ceiling bracket, or what I call the Z bracket, to drop the tracks low enough so your fascia and finials, or not the finials, but the fascia doesn't interfere with this bracket. So you can use this setup. There's this bracket here. This is a picture of a 2-inch with a 2-inch diameter fascia, a 2-inch with a 2-inch where this one is lower than your front rod. This is a picture here of the concept where you have an estate rod in the front. Now, what's nice about this is for the front, you don't have to use this step down bracket because your fascia is in front of this arm. So you could even use this bracket here for this setup where you're going to have, this is pictured of super fine, but you could do an architrav in the back, either on this bracket or, yeah, they have it pictured here. Or this, again, this heavy duty bracket here is pictured with, you can do a 2-inch or 1 3/8 inch estate rod in the front. It's not dropped down with that Z bracket. It's right up against the bracket. And then your architrav track is right behind it. And because the architrav can be ceiling mounted, you can see the track clip right here is bolted to this bracket. So those are your options for double mounts. And I know, I get it where sometimes seeing pictures like this can be, hard to understand what it actually looks like. And I'm going to, if I do this right, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to ask Jen. Oh,
Which one?
Hang on. There is another option for double brackets. That's not listed in that brochure, but it's this bracket here. It is found on page 95 of the Kirsch price book. But this is a nice bracket to use for a double track, because I'm not sure if you can see it. This is what it looks like. And you can double mount an estate rod without those Z brackets right up against the bracket. So you can put your bracket right here and right here, and your fascia comes up into this cutout or this hump. Okay, so this is, it's item number 7113410. Very nice feature. However, this is the back of the bracket. Okay, some people may say it's not quite as supportive, but it's what they offer. The other thing is, isn't this a nice brass color?
Very pretty.
Very pretty. This is the only finish it comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So some people take this and paint it. However, will you really see it? So I have, and I'm going to back up here. Edward made a double traverse rod, double estate rod, 2 tracks. Turn it around. You can see we used this bracket I was just showing you about. And this is what the side profile looks like. I'm trying to see if you can see it well. But when you hang it, if you're standing down below, you really don't see the bracket that much. You might see the back of it, against the wall. Or if it's really high, you might see
Yeah, I don't think you would see
more of like this, but you don't really see a whole lot. I'll move it a little closer. A whole lot of that bracket. Okay. So I feel as though this bracket is a real good option. However, like I said, it only comes in brass.
Yeah, the only thing I'm seeing is the carrier, so.
Yeah. So the brass doesn't stick out a whole lot. You don't see that much. Okay. So that's what this would look like. If you were to use the heavy duty bracket with the Z bracket, this is what it looks like. Okay. You get that effect. Where you see the various Z brackets there. And from the ceiling, I mean,
Yes. Well, you can
if
see
you're
it.
on the floor, you do see the white bottom of the bracket. There are no covers for it, but it's a little more, it depends on where you're standing. You might see those brackets stand out more. Again, just some options. All right. So that's a state.